Welcome back to my channel, Over 60 Scene, and I'm Wilma. And today, or this morning, I wanted to continue my talk about my anxiety, panic attacks, and anorexia. My part one was probably, a whole month ago already. It's really hard to talk about. And so I'm going to give it another go for part two. So in my first video, I talked about my employment and my early jobs and how my anxiety kind of manifested with that, and then how my anorexia kind of developed out of just the culture at the time of, all the models were thin and everybody expected you to be thin, and just this whole feeling of trying to, needing to fit in with what everybody else, thought we should all look like. So, I was like skipping meals. I was eating one meal a day. I did that for a long time. Now people say that's healthy. But for me as a young adult, and, I was, 19, 20, somewhere in that age bracket when this was all happening or starting. I still looked okay on the outside. I mean, I was thin. I wasn't, I wasn't skin and bones yet. But if I had kept going, I would have been, because I was right on that brink. And on my last video, I attached some photos. Those are the ones I could find of when, what I looked like at that time. And, but I started to feel scared on the inside, because inside I knew that this was unhealthy, that I shouldn't be doing this. That I should eat more. I should eat better nutritionally. Instead of just like if I was hungry from my one meal to the next day or something, grab a Hershey bar or something like that. I knew that I should, at least have a nice salad for lunch. I knew these things, but I continued to know that, if I start eating more, then I'm going to put the pounds back on, and then I'm not going to be happy with myself, and I'm not going to like the way I look in my clothes, and, and then it's just a constant back and forth of, knowing what you should be doing versus what you are doing. And, this went on for several years. I think at least 4 or 5 years, I think, easily. And yeah, I would go to the doctor and they wouldn't really say anything. They wouldn't say, "Oh, you better put some pounds on," or anything like that. I don't remember anyone saying that ever. I must say that always my blood work was good. I always had, my cholesterol was low, my blood sugar was low. I was young and healthy, and everything was working the way it was supposed to be. So, eventually though, I started having panic attacks. And I don't know if the panic attacks came about because of the fear of the anxiety, how the lack of nutrition was making me feel, the lack of knowing that I should eat more, but I just wasn't. So it was like I knew that I was doing this to myself, and just, it would like build up inside of me. Until one day I remember I came home from work, and I wanted to go shopping. I wanted to go get some new clothes to wear to work, just, get a few things. Instead of waiting till the weekend or whatever, I went like right after work. So, and again, I probably when I'm thinking about it, I probably hadn't eaten all day or very little, you know. And so I went to the mall and I was walking around the mall looking at clothes, trying on clothes. And I started to have a panic attack. It was like coming over me, like just the whole feeling like my mind started to race. And it was like, okay, I got to go home. I better get out of here because I don't feel good, you know. And this could have all been a physical manifestation too, not just mental, but physical. But, and then suddenly, you know, you start to kind of feel like you're having a heart attack. And then you kind of feel like, oh my God, is everybody looking at me? Can everyone tell that something's happening, you know? So anyway, I get in the car and I'm driving home. And I mean, I'm literally feeling like I'm having a heart attack as I'm driving. And my hands are on the steering wheel, but it's like my hands are somebody else's hands. They're not my hands. They were like detached. It was like they were like floating out here somewhere, you know. And that scared me. And so, this was pre-cell phone. You couldn't call anybody or anything, you know. So I pulled into a Dairy Queen, which was only about a mile from my house. And I ran in because I wanted to use the phone because I wanted to call my mom, and because I didn't want to keep driving because I was afraid I was going to pass out. So I went in there, and some other emergency was happening at the same time. I don't exactly know what, but apparently the people in this Dairy Queen were just like, oh my God, what is going on here? Is everybody gone crazy? Is there a full moon or something? Anyway, so I think I did call my mom, and I think she did come and get me and take me home. And then I guess we had to go back later and get my car or something. I don't remember that part of it, but I do remember her making me a doctor's appointment after that. So I went to the doctor. I went to her doctor, the one that's giving her all the, medications. Because this was still, whatever, the late 70s, early 80s. And so I went to the doctor and, told him what happened and whatever. I don't remember him ever saying to me, oh, you had a panic attack. All he did that I remember, and this was a long time ago, so, my memory has probably faded on it. All I remember is he prescribed me Valium. So I took this Valium for a couple of days, and I was like, this is fine. I feel relaxed on the outside, like, my muscular, my whole physical. But inside, the butterflies were still there. The anxiety was still there. It didn't do anything to kill the anxiety, that feeling of always wanting to run away from every situation and just not have to deal with being an adult. And so thankfully I had the common sense to stop taking the Valium. So I didn't keep taking it because I really hated drugs. I hated taking anything that made me feel different, that made me feel out of control, or and even back when we used to, smoke weed occasionally, that never really set well with me. That always, instead of relaxing me, it seemed to do the opposite. It seemed to make me feel, less in control, which then made me more anxious. So anyway, I was glad that I stopped taking the Valium. But as time went on and I changed jobs, I stopped working at the department store. I think I went into the fact that I was working in a department store. And then I got an office job again. And I guess as I gained some confidence in myself through working, and I knew I couldn't quit again. Like I had mentioned in my previous video that I had quit the insurance company. I knew I couldn't quit again. I needed money. So I wanted money. I wanted to be able to buy things. And so I knew I had to deal with this whole issue. And I don't know, just by some miracle, I had no therapy from anywhere. Just gradually, I mean, do I want to say I grew out of it? I don't know. I don't know what happened. I recognized the problem. And because of that magazine article that I had read, I kind of knew what anorexia was. And then I had started reading, and I started to read about panic attacks too, that little by little, these things started to be talked about to the point where I knew what was happening to me. And once you know what's happening, and you don't have to be scared that you're having a heart attack, it's then you can kind of deal with it. And in fact, when I was going to the community college, I did a paper on biofeedback, which was a method that they were learning about to lower people's blood pressure. So then reading about that was like, well, maybe I can, if people can control their blood pressure through relaxation and deep breathing and things like that, maybe I can do that for what's happening to me. And so I started doing those things, and little by little, I don't want to say it completely went away, but it was much, much less, much, much less. And so I think it was a combination of getting older, trying to help myself, and the support of my then boyfriend, and his family, my family. It kind of slowly diminished. And not that the anxiety completely went away, because I've always had anxiety over the years for different things, different occasions, but it wasn't a constant presence anymore. I didn't have the butterflies anymore. Maybe only if there was a stressful situation that cropped up, then I might feel the butterflies. But it wasn't where I was living with this every single day. And there is help now through therapists and things that I didn't have or didn't know were available to me. But I'm just thankful, and maybe being a religious person, I'm going to say thank God for helping me snap out of what was happening. But the one thing that's happened to me too is now I can recognize when things are happening with others that are similar to what I experienced. And so I kind of know now when other people behave in certain ways, I know that feeling. I know the avoiding. I know, making excuses to not attend certain events or things like that. So I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee. I didn't even get my coffee yet this morning. Well, no, I had one much earlier, but I'm going to go grab one right now. Okay, got my coffee. So how about you? I would like to hear from people if they've experienced anything similar to what I went through, anxiety-wise, or panic attacks, or the whole anorexia. And if so, how you overcame it, how old you were when these things were happening. And they have so many more medications now for anxiety, and I'm kind of glad that when I was experiencing it, I wasn't given any of those things. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I sort of have a negative impression of anxiety medication because I've heard things where, I guess some people think it helps, some people thinks it doesn't help. And I just kind of would like to know what has been your experience without revealing anything, too medical that, obviously that you wouldn't want to share. So, yeah, so we have a gorgeous sunny day here in Northeast Ohio this morning. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. It's only in the 30s. So I don't know, maybe if it warms up to 40, I'll take a walk later. But right now I'm just kind of staying in, and I was going to make an omelet. I was going to make a 1-egg omelet and do a video of that. So I think I will. And post that for my the group of videos that I have that's kind of centered around cooking. So what are those called? I forget, where the videos are grouped together. Can't think of it now, but anyway, that's a 67-year-old for you. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't think of the word. I guess it's a can't think of it. Anyway, so okay, well that's all I'm going to talk about right now. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'd love to be able to answer some questions about this. And maybe I'll do a part 3 if I can think of some other things to discuss. Like I said, it was a long time ago. That was 40 years ago, 45 years ago. I mean, in my mind, it was a part of my life that happened, and I'm glad it's behind me. And wouldn't want to go back. Wouldn't want to go back and relive all that, although being in my 20s would be fun again for some things, but not for all that. That was just too much to deal with. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching me, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Keep smiling.